Greetings and blessings and greetings, blessed souls. It's Don Zulcio Goodman, and we're live from Keswick, Crown Heights, Brooklyn, New York. It is the 23rd day of the Hebrew month of Adar, 5,770 years blazing and grazing into the creation. The solar calendar, we know it to be March 9th, 2010. Before we start with the subject matter of limited beings as ourselves and the constellations being connected to the infinite being, the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, the ultimate infinite creator, may be blessed. And because he is blessed, we are blessed. And if you're unsure of those blessings, I humbly suggest you check out Genesis 9 verse 1. See, who blessed Noach and his three sons, Ham, Sham, and Japheth. So I'd like to humbly suggest, blessed souls, in the form of a blessing, that when we become aware of our emotional attributes, to our disconcern, we might start to come to realize, if we take an honest assessment of ourselves, that some of our emotional attributes, our midot, which we thought were midot tovot, healthy and expansive type of emotional attributes, actually might be in fact chaotic and negative. What I mean by chaotic and negative? Well, in the Hebrew we call chaotic tohu. And Zayin midot of tohu, 7 emotional attributes of chaos, are basically an attribute, an emotion, which is feeding itself to the exclusion of the perceptions of the other emotional attributes that exist on a more divine level in creation, and within that, the manifestation of his or her own personal life experiences. There's the emotional attribute of love, there's the emotional attribute of fear, there's the emotional attribute of beauty, which is the synthesis of love and fear. There's the emotional attribute of wanting to conquer in any which way or form. There's the emotional attribute of splendor, wanting to embellish and beautify one's sense of what is beyond the normal call of order. There's Yesod, there's the feeling, the emotional feeling that one wants to connect from within oneself to outside of oneself, whether it be in one's home, community, workplace, family, relatives. And perhaps if a person is blessed and anointed enough to connect to one's country, civilization, and the entire planet Earth. Then there's the emotional attribute of Malchus, which is basically a sensing of, ultimately, in the superconscious, subconscious level, a sensing of the Most High, that it should manifest as the determining factor of how this creation should be run in a peaceful and pleasant manner, to the extent that it should be this way and no other way. However, with each one of these 7 emotions, which I'll just say very quickly in Hebrew, chesed, kindness associated with love, gvura, might associated with fear, tiferes, beauty, synthesizing the above attributes, and netzach, the emotional attribute of wanting to conquer, Hod, again, the emotional attribute of wanting to make something more beautiful. Yesod, the emotional attribute of wanting to connect to outside of oneself. And Malchus, the idea of emotional attribute of wanting to have dominion, or to facilitate the dominion and rulership of something above oneself. That being said, blessed souls, I'd like to turn briefly to and extract out, like one would extract out the walnut from its shell. Because if we don't take the fruit from out of its shell, the shell is only just a shell of itself, and merely covering over and hiding the true intent of that shell. In this particular allegory, the walnut shell. And for that allegory, I thank Blessed Brother Ponhand, who I recently connected with, who makes a tremendous series of videos, the little I've seen of them so far, really asking each one of us as human beings to probe ourselves, and hopefully by probing ourselves we'll be stimulated in a positive way to think about fact, which is a Torah reality, that we are on an eternal pathway. Gorel Shabbat as we mentioned in previous videos, the destiny, the positive destiny of our soul. That being said, blessed souls, this is extracting out from Shabbos, Parshas Vayakav Ukudei, which was a Shabbat in which the Lubavitch Rebbe, direct descendant of King David and King Solomon, elaborated on the concept in Tafshin Yud Gimel 1953 in the Shabbat that preceded the blessed month of Nisan, that there is a process of awareness in general and in particularly through a meditation, which is analytical, cognitive awareness, expansion, inner understanding of recognizing Elokut in two general ways. The first way is to understand and to immerse one's blessed mind, heart, and soul into the infinite aspects of Elokut, godliness, divinity, as it is above the natural conduct of the universe. And we see this as is described in the miracles in the Tanakh and also in other books of faith and spirituality. But what I want to focus on for the next couple of minutes, blessed souls, is the recognizing and the internalization in terms of expanding our awareness of Elokut Malubash B'Teva, godliness, joyfulness, divinity, as it manifests in finite beings like ourselves. But not only ourselves, the paradoxical presentation of Elokut Malubash B'Teva, godliness being enclosed in finite beings, like say the sun and the moon. But wait a minute. We know that the sun and the moon did not make themselves, neither did they make anything other than them. They did not make themselves. They've been made by a higher realm. One can postulate that they were created by angelic beings. But who created the angelic beings? Well, that's where we start to diversify and enrich our meditation, blessed souls, in the fact that there is a creator who has designed so within his blessed will and wisdom that there should be an angelic realm, which is testified throughout the Tanakh, throughout the Torah, and the prophets, and the holy writings of the sages and kings and mystics of Israel. And as well, that there is a realm of creation. And we look at the sun and we look at the moon, we see it every day, and especially when the days are not cloudy, or it's not the beginning of a new lunar month, when you don't see anything except maybe perhaps a tiny dot in the sky if you have a powerful microscope, or telescope I should say. Yet these finite beings have been here since the beginning of the creation. They were mentioned as being manifested in the fourth day of creation if you look in the book of Genesis. Okay, but of course, in primordial divine thought, they actually arose earlier than that in terms of their manifestation into the creation. Because one thing we should understand, blessed souls, is his makshavas, the Creator's makshavas, are not our makshavas. His thoughts are not our thoughts. Our thoughts do not necessarily manifest into action, but his thoughts manifest as action. He thought of us, we are created, we are here. Yet, so the sun and the moon, for example, okay, the sun, as far as I know, has not lost any intensity in terms of radiating and illuminating our earth and being the source of endless energy, renewable energy, which means energy that will not run out. And the moon, which as I understand is connected to the growth of certain types of produce upon this blessed earth, and is connected, as I understand correctly, is connected to the movement of waves, the movement of water. Water, blessed souls, is associated with wisdom. Sunlight is connected with the idea of Giloim, revelations. Yet these two beings are not these super beings. And unfortunately, many blessed souls have fallen into the mistaken notion that they should praise the axe as if it was as great as the one who made the axe. So this is Dan Zusugubin signing off now succinctly. I hope everyone can have a blessed day. And next time you look at the sun and the moon, think about the fact they are not the creator, yet they help manifest more things in the creation because they are merely an axe in the hands of the wood chopper. So Baba, rejoice. Ahava Chad, one love, Guru Chad, one destiny. Kulano, for all of us.